I think we're live. All right, you are listening to another episode of Transparency and Merit. My name's Joe, and I really want to address a comment that was made last night by our other show host here, my co host Brian, who stated that chattel slavery was a term coined in 2015. I found that peculiar. And I'm wondering if maybe it's really just a kind of a product of where we're at when you go and do a search nowadays. It seems like, and I'm going to date myself by saying that, but look, when you search up phrases and ideas and you want to get some more insight into some of these ideas, when you go now into the search engines, unfortunately, you're not getting the best results. Everything that's good seems to have been scrubbed. And I say that because I'm sure Brian had looked into chattel slavery, and maybe he came up with maybe the best thing he found in a search was that this is a phrase that kind of took off or was, I'm not sure if was his exact words, but it seems like he thinks that the term was basically coined in 2015, and I find that just a sign of the times. And in fact, I'm showing here a video series that I had made. So it was a legal series based on a Harvard Law Review article called "The History of Choses in Action by the Common Law," and it's a kind of a long listen. I did it in small chunks. It was a 30-page essay that I just basically read, and there are links to that article if you want to read it instead of listening to me. But even in that series, and the reason I read the article was that it was 100 years old. It was written in 1920, and I thought it'd be nice to kind of commemorate that work. And so I read it out, and in that work there are many allusions to the concept of chattel. Chattel is mentioned. So I'm hoping that the words are broken down before they're used, and kind of given this kind of modern slant. I don't know how else to put it, but for chattel, it's an item of tangible, movable, or immovable property, except real estate and things such as buildings connected with real property. So that's chattel. But then if you also go to slavery, slavery itself is the practice of slaveholding, the state of a person who is a chattel of another. So even by using the term slavery, and the idea of chattel, which has happened all through time. The Hebrews, the Greeks, the Romans relied on slaves of chattel labor. France, Spain, Russia, any country that won over another country relied on slavery. And in America, of course, in 1913 there was the Federal Reserve Act. Later America was struggling. They were broke, and they couldn't pay back their debts. And this kind of led to the idea of the birth certificated man, which happened in 1933. We also went from gold and silver as a standard for money to in the private realm to becoming more of a public realm, relying on federal notes, money, and that money was backed on the idea of people's productivity. So I just wanted to go over this really quick. I heard Brian mention it, and I think these terms can simply be broken out, and you start to realize that these are not new ideas. The term chattel as a legal term dates back pre-Civil War era, maybe much longer before that. I'm not sure. So, anyways, that's it. And I'd like to talk to Brian at some point about this. I just wanted to address it, and I'm sure we'll do a show later on. Darren, what's going on? Welcome. Thanks for hanging out. I just heard Brian's show last night, and I got a little triggered. I admit it. I got triggered because when I hear something like that, not quitting. No. This isn't about quitting. I'm saying, like, going back, when I hear a term like that, I get mad. And it's not always, I'm not saying it's always Brian's fault. Brian probably looked for that word. He looked for information, and what he found led him astray. And that's just part of the problem we're facing, I think, in these strange times. Just be careful when you're looking into information. Be careful about what you accept and spread. I guess that's it for now. But I'm going to look for Brian, and maybe we'll do another show tonight. So thank you for hanging out, even for a few minutes.